The allegations made by the Commission regarding Mr. Harris, they're all outlined in these papers.
Yes, Mr. Delegate, the allegations are spelt out in the ASC's notice of hearing and are also supported by the evidence contained in folders A to F.
Right, well, that all seems to be in order. Please proceed to outline your submission regarding Mr. Harris.
Certainly, Mr. Delegate. The ASC's submission is that Mr. Harris has contravened certain provisions of the Corporations Law in the course of his activities as an authorised representative of Prestige Property Fund Advisory Services, a licensed dealer in securities. In particular, the ASC alleges that on 14 separate occasions, Mr. Harris failed to take steps to obtain sufficient information about clients to enable him to meet his responsibilities under Section 851 of the Corporations Law. The ASC also alleges that on 17 separate occasions, Mr. Harris failed to make disclosures to his clients pursuant to Section 849 of the Corporations Law. The ASC also alleges that on 8 separate occasions, Mr. Harris failed to comply with the requirements of Section 1020 of the Corporations Law in that he did not provide copies of prospectuses to clients at the time he asked them to sign application forms. Finally, the ASC alleges that on 12 separate occasions, Mr. Harris knowingly engaged in conduct which was misleading and deceptive, therefore contravening Section 995 of the law. I'll start our submission by examining the expert opinion obtained by the ASC from Mr. Peter Wallace of Wallace & Jameson Financial Services. Now, if you'll turn to page 134 of the papers handed up, in folder D, you'll see the outline of Mr. Wallace's report.
God almighty, what was all that about? This can't be happening. I've been in this industry for 15 years and I've never heard of this guy, Wallace. And what's he going to be able to tell me? This is all bullshit. Hey, Jerry, what's going on here, mate? How can they get some guy who I've never met to talk about my business?
Mike, keep it down.
But damn it, Jerry, I'm paying you good money, mate. And for what? This is the Spanish Inquisition. You get up there and say something.
Look, Mike, I told you these people have collected a lot of stuff about you from over a dozen of your ex-clients. Now, Peter Wallace is an expert they've called in to examine the evidence. You might not know him, but I've heard of him. He's got a pretty good reputation.
Oh, that's great. Whose side are you on, anyway?
Mike, this is all about evidence. Now, that bulldozer from the ASC is going to present all the evidence she's got on you, starting with Wallace. Then they're going to present written submissions from each of the clients.
Which clients?
Well, the ones that went into the gearing. But we can question what each client said happened. Now, you're clear about what happened with each client, aren't you? Mike, you're going to have to be. From what I've seen of your client files, we're going to be relying a lot on what you can recall about each meeting. It's going to come down to your word against theirs.
Oh, but for Christ's sake, Jerry, I mean, this could go on for weeks. And it's all a stupid waste of time. Look, those people have nothing to complain about. I sold them a long-term idea. And you can't hold me responsible if they don't know how to manage negative gearing, mate. What else could I have done?
Mike,
Harris, come. Need I remind you, this is an official hearing. I will not tolerate any interruptions. This will be your only warning. Now, will the Solicitor for the Australian Securities Commission please continue?
Thank you, Mr. Delegate. Now, turning your attention to the first allegations in detail, you'll find on page 3 that Mr. Harris has not been able...
Mrs. Catelli, I've known your husband since we were kids. Why would I try and sell him a dud? Look, you have to understand that the investment that we decided on was a long-term one. No. But when I spoke to Phil, he was keen to jump in. And if he gets out now, he'll lose his dough for sure. Yes, I've seen the prices in today's paper. But remember, this is a long-term thing. But Susan, look, please understand, I've done the best I can for you and Phil. Now, you must pay these margin calls or you'll lose your... Yes, margin calls. Or you'll lose your property units. Now, it's the way you get your tax advantage. No, it will get better. Your tax agent has it all wrong. Okay, Susan, but look, you must fix this margin business today. Yeah. All right, I should be able to talk to someone down there for you, but They have your agreement. Look, just hang in there, okay? It'll get better. Okay then. Goodbye. Bloody hell. That's the third one today. I don't believe this is happening.
Excuse me, Mike. Brian Murphy's on line 5. Liz Mackenzie's on hold on line 7. She says it's urgent, she needs to speak to you. She sounds pretty upset.
Hello, Mike Harris. Oh, hello, Brian. How are you today? Oh, that's no good, mate. Right, looking for margin payments, eh? Right, well, mate, it's just a temporary thing. You know, the market goes up and down. I mean, we all know that. But over the long haul, it goes up. Oh, gee, that's no good. Well, don't you have the money to cover the margin calls? Mate, I must have told you about the margin calls. No, look, I'm not calling you a liar. I just meant that, look, we're all adults here, Brian. And you can't blame me if the market goes down and you're not prepared. No, I'm not calling you stupid. I just meant...
That didn't sound too good. What's up?
You can't cover the margin calls. It doesn't look good for him.
Look, I've got to go. Don't forget Mrs. Mackenzie's on line 7.
Hello, Mrs. Mackenzie. Mike Harris. How are you today? Yes, I did see the papers. Yes. No, look, no, it's just a temporary glitch in the plan. Nothing to worry about. It'll all turn around, believe me.
Mr. Harris, the hearing has heard submissions from both the Commission and yourself by your solicitor. I have taken into account all the submissions put before me on both sides, and I must say it has been an exhaustive process. I have read some dozen witness statements, perused the annexures to each, heard the cross-examination of witnesses, and listened to your own submission. I have concluded that there is indeed a substantial case made against you on nearly all the grounds put before me by the Commission. On the basis of these findings, I am compelled to consider your future in the industry and whether it is appropriate that you be permitted to carry on the business of dealing in securities. In my view, the circumstances surrounding the placement of your clients into such a scheme as has been described to me makes it necessary to take action to protect other innocent investors.
Yeah, things are going really well at the moment, Marty. And thanks for sending that other couple over too. Yeah, they're coming over this morning. So, $200, same as last time? Great. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about me, mate. I'll sell them. Okay, mate. Bye.
Mike Mackenzie's here to see you.
Great. Please show them in.
Okay, thanks.
John.
G'day.
Elizabeth.
Hey.
Look, thanks for taking the time to come see me, please. Hey, talk about perfect timing. I've just got off the phone from your accountant, Marty, and he tells me that you're looking for better ways to manage your tax.
Yeah, that's right. Marty thinks that we might have a tax problem in the coming year, and well, he said you might be able to help us with that.
Yeah, we're not too cluey about our options, but he said you'd know what to do.
Well, hey, I'm not one for false modesty, but if it's tax you're worried about, I can save you thousands. Hey, do you know how much the richest people in the country paid in tax last year? They paid only 1 to 2% of their gross income. And you know how? Because they planned ahead. And you can do the same by investing in a very clever scheme that won't cost you an extra cent. Because the income that you get from the investment covers all the outgoings. So come 30th of June, Bob's your uncle. You're laughing all the way to the bank. Now, should I show you how?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Right, John, tell me, how much do you pay in tax at the moment, say on a yearly basis?
not sure.
Oh, well, okay. How much do you gross?
Just over 40,000.
Oh, there's my 10,000 as well. Does that count?
Well, you won't be earning that for much longer.
Yes. We're planning to start a family soon.
Oh, that's great. Okay, well, why don't we just concentrate on John's 40,000 then? That means you're paying about 12,000 in tax. I can show you how my scheme will reduce that for you from day one. Now, how about your home? Do you have much equity in that? You know, do you owe the bank much on it as compared to what it's worth?
Yeah, we do. What, about 80,000?
90,000 now, I think it is at the moment.
Yeah.
And the house would be worth?
180, 200,000.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. 200, 120 equity. Okay, you know, you guys are really lucky because some people can't get into this scheme because they haven't concentrated on their mortgage before they came to see me. Now, how would you like to own your home outright in half the estimated time and get that bank manager out of your hair once and for all? Eh?
Yeah,
No.
who wouldn't?
Well, the good news is that I can do it for you. And here's how. Right, we take the existing equity in your home, refinance with another lender for the total value, 200,000, and then pay off the outstanding mortgage. And then we use the rest of the money to buy property units. Now, by purchasing the additional units, you get the full tax advantage. Now, this scheme is perfect for you because the investment delivers capital gains for minimal risk. Plus, you manage to reduce your tax to almost nothing.
Oh, sorry to bother you, Mr. Harris. I was just wondering if anyone would like some coffee or tea.
No, that's okay, Narelle. Please come in. You've met the Mackenzies, John and Elizabeth?
Yeah, sure.
Please just got me Liz.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I think a coffee break is probably a very good idea right now. And while we're doing that, I'll get you to sit down with Narelle and fill out the questionnaires. Now, this information is just to help us get the investment up and running as quickly and as smoothly as possible. Now, I'll get Narelle to help you with the forms because it's very important that we get all of your details, like your date of birth and your address, correct, right from the very start. Okay, Narelle?
Yep, no problem, Mr. Harris. If you'd just like to come this way, please.
No, I have... Ah, thanks, Narelle. Well, everything seems to be in place. All of the T's crossed and the I's dotted. Now, let's talk about tailoring this scheme for you. Now, the trick with this scheme is to let the investment do the work for you. Now, you take your existing equity in your house and you get a new loan called a line of credit, and you use some of the money to pay out your mortgage. Then you still have access to enough money to start up the investment. Then you use the line of credit to buy trust units, and this is for your tax advantage. Now, the way I've got this scheme structured for you, there'll be about $10,000 left to do with as you please. So, what about a second honeymoon?
Actually, we could use a second car.
No, what about that holiday up at the Whitsundays? Come on, get the boat up and we'll go up there.
This could cause trouble here, I can see. Look, the beauty of this scheme is that you get to choose when you use the extra equity, right? And how you use it. Now, unlike a direct investment in property, say like a house, right? You buy units within a trust. That way you're protected because you share the risk with thousands of other people. And it also allows you to invest in the prime commercial stuff, which is where all the big boys make their money.
That sounds good.
Now, to get the very best out of this thing, you're going to need to borrow a little more money. Now, we use this money to buy more units and get you an even bigger tax deduction. You know, negative gearing.
Right, negative gearing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the best part is that these new loans pay for themselves from the income that you make on the units. In the meantime, you sit back, take a holiday and let the future take care of itself. Look, now we all know that property values double about every 7 years or so. Right? So give it a little time and this thing just keeps getting better and better. In as little as 10 years, you'll be able to walk away with a big tax saving and an even bigger capital gain. So, looks good, doesn't it? So, what do you think? Queensland, and the fund has just started a development on Russell Island. See, here, John. Last year, more than 1 million people came to Australia to relax on a beach near some clean water. Now, this is the future for property. Now, all the big funds are trying to get a piece of the action now, but these people, Prestige Property Fund, were the first, real pioneers. Now, you buy the units by filling out these applications, and I'll get Narelle to go through these with you later.
Okay, look, Mike, I mean, this all looks great, but are there any other products that we could compare this with?
Yeah, John, what was that one that we saw the other day?
I could sit here and I could give you a sales pitch about a dozen other products, but the fact of the matter is I know the Prestige Fund products inside and out, and there is no other fund that can do for you what Prestige Fund can do. They had the highest growth of any fund last year, and they're on track to blitz the field again this year. Look, I'm not prepared to recommend anything that I wouldn't invest in myself. I've already got 250,000 units in this fund myself. I can't have my clients getting rich without me, can I?
Yeah, I'll bet.
Okay, so you're probably sick of listening to me, all right? There's no rush, so why don't you go home, have a think about it, and we'll meet again, say, a week from today.
Sounds good.
Okay. Here you go.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.